If you had tried to tell me that after the Lakers got eliminated from the playoffs, we were going to go trade for Russell Westbrook, I would have told you were out of your mind. But here we are. The Lakers just traded for Russell Westbrook and created a big three of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russ. I'm just going to give you my raw reaction. I haven't planned anything out. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm going to just give you my straight up first reaction when I heard this trade. All right, so listen, comment down below. What was your first reaction? What did you think? Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? How far are the Lakers going to go this season? So the first thing, when I saw this on Twitter, oh yeah, I also wanted to mention the gameplays y'all about to watch. You got to realize, usually when I do these types of videos, I have like days and days to record the best clips, the best gameplay. I literally went in the park, played like 3 games, and just got quick gameplay for this video because I wanted to give y'all my raw reaction. Okay, so it's not the best gameplays, but it'll do for the video. All right, let's get right into it. All right, now before we get into it, let me give you a quick background. I am a Laker fan. All right, so I'm coming from a Lakers fan perspective. I know you're gonna be like, no, you're not. You're a LeBron fan. No, I am a Laker fan. I've been a Laker fan my whole life. Grew up, Kobe was my favorite player. My dad was a Laker fan. It's literally in my family. When I lived in California, I went to Laker games. Like, it was everything Laker Nation, you know what I mean? And then yes, LeBron is my favorite player now, and it just so happened he signed with the Lakers. Okay, so I'm not thinking just from LeBron perspective, I'm thinking from the Lakers perspective, just to give you straight up honesty about how I'm going to respond to this. All right, now first things first, Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. When I first heard it, I literally thought people were trolling. And then I started to see it was like Shams and Woj telling that, you know, reporting the deal was that close. And I was like, yo, they're really about to get Westbrook? Like, I was hearing Buddy Hield, and I was like, yo, Buddy's going to be a perfect addition. You know, we're adding shooting to the roster. We obviously need to add shooting to the roster. And then it got confirmed that we got Westbrook. And let me be the first to say, I do like Westbrook. A lot of people hate Westbrook, and I like him despite his flaws. Like, I know he's an inefficient shooter. You know, he's not he doesn't have a reliable three-point shot, and then now his free throw shooting has actually been really inconsistent the last couple seasons, when early in his career he was actually pretty solid from the free throw line. So it just seems like it's kind of in his head right now in terms of his shooting in all avenues. But I still think he's a special player. Like, he's a special talent, and I can see how he will help the team. But I also see with the roster we have at the moment why people are skeptical, because honestly, I'm a little skeptical too about how it's going to work. Now, what I'm assuming or hoping or praying, however you want to put it, is that the Lakers front office knows something we don't know. They have to know that certain players plan on signing with the Lakers for, let's say, the vet minimum, or for low, taking pay cuts, lower salaries that we can actually afford to put on the books, because otherwise the trade doesn't really make a ton of sense. Now, if you're telling me we're going to add a knockdown shooter, a 3-and-D guy, a couple guys like that, and they already know we're going to add those pieces, then I can see how the trade does make sense. I can see where the value in it is. But if they have none of that lined up, and they really think that we're just going to go into the season with the roster currently constructed and be effective, it's going to be tough. We saw even in the playoffs last year against Phoenix, they did not respect us from the 3 at all. Now, I understand AD was hurt. LeBron was playing on a bad ankle. He hadn't fully healed from the ankle injury. We weren't at full health, but they did not respect us at the 3-point line at all. There was possessions, they literally had 5 guys with a foot in the paint almost, or just outside the paint, obviously defensive 3 seconds, but y'all get the idea. They did not respect us from the 3. So everyone figured we're going to add 3-point shooting to the roster. Then you go out and add Russell Westbrook. It doesn't really seem to add up. Again, unless they know something we don't know, which I'm assuming with LeBron, AD, Rob Pelinka, they talk. They talk. Call it tampering, call whatever you want. They talk to free agents, even when they're not supposed to, or whatever the case may be. It goes on in the league. It's just the way it is. They must know that we're signing a couple vets that obviously the public doesn't know yet. Now, another major concern of mine is by adding Westbrook, he's a guy that is ball dominant. He's a guy that likes to have the ball in his hands. I understand he played with James Harden, and they were pretty effective together. They both put up really good numbers, ended up losing to the Lakers in the 2020 playoffs, and the Lakers ended up winning the championship. But here's where the concern comes in. At the end of games, we want the ball in LeBron's hands. That's how we won a championship. LeBron AD, when it comes down to it, LeBron AD pick and roll. And with Westbrook, you don't really want him off the ball because they're not going to respect him as a jump shooter. yeah, he's a decent cutter off the ball, and LeBron's a good passer, and I can see him feeding Russ a lot and Russ feeding him a lot, but down the stretch, are they even going to have Russ on the court? And will Russ be willing to accept that? I do love that Russ can run the second unit. LeBron comes off the ball, LeBron comes out of the game. We have a second ball handler now that Russ could run a first unit. We've seen him do it for years and years. Imagine him playing against other teams' backups. Russ is an Energizer Bunny. Russ is a guy that is relentless. He will destroy second units, and he's a playmaker. He'll get guys open shots. I love that. I love that aspect of it, especially if we add a couple shooters, couple 3-and-D guys. That's going to be really, really good. Down the stretches where I'm concerned, of course, like we want the ball in our best players' hands. We want LeBron to have the ball. Russ really isn't a viable option off the ball, especially in clutch time, because they're not going to respect the jump shot. And if he has the ball, he's not even a great free throw shooter if he were to get fouled. LeBron's not a great free throw shooter either. So now we're doubling that up with our two primary ball handlers not being very consistent free throw shooters. Another positive I take away from it is the regular season. I know it's all about the playoffs, but we've seen just from this season alone, arriving to the playoffs healthy gives you a huge advantage on other teams. Adding Russ to the roster, it takes a ton of pressure in the regular season off of AD and LeBron. They'll be able to rest more. You guys know, even Russ's haters cannot deny the fact that Russ is an Energizer Bunny. He plays all out every game. Him playing that hard is going to allow LeBron to go off the ball more. LeBron to get a few more minutes on the bench every night to rest a little bit. We've seen AD's injury prone. Well, if he's fully rested every single game because he doesn't have to play as many minutes, he doesn't have to work as hard, he doesn't have to get as many rebounds. Russ is going to get you 10 rebounds a game playing point guard. It's going to be good for them in the regular season to hopefully arrive to the playoffs healthy. Then, of course, the playoffs, I get concerned again. Like I said, the clutch time stuff, how's it going to work out? They got to figure that side of it out. It's the same thing in the playoffs. Like in the playoffs, you want LeBron to have the ball. You want LeBron to be the main ball handler. That's how we won a championship in 2020. LeBron was the primary point guard. Is Russ going to accept going off the ball most of the time? We saw last year, we tried to have Schroeder run the point and LeBron play off the ball. It worked sometimes. It didn't work other times. It was, it was tough to judge it since we were injured in the playoffs. It's tough to be the judge of something that you didn't really get to see play out fully healthy, but I still think we're best with the ball in LeBron's hands when it matters most. Then you're moving Russ off the ball, like I said, and I just don't know how that works out. Now, just as a basketball fan, I'm excited to see it. It's going to be crazy. Like the matchups, the games, the highlights, the basketball we're going to witness is going to be fun to watch and see if they can figure it out. From a Laker fan, I'm optimistic. I want to see it work out. I would love for Russ to get his first ring, and obviously for the Lakers to get their ring, LeBron to get another ring. It would be crazy to see, and it would be awesome to see a guy that's hated on so much like Russ to prove everybody wrong that he can win a championship. Now, people say Russ can't win the championship as the first option, and I would agree, but on this team, he's really not the first or second option. I would say it's LeBron and AD, and Russ would be the third option. Now, Russ as your third option, if he accepts that role, that is a dangerous thing for another team to deal with, especially like I said with the second unit. Russ can just run riot and just go crazy, and that's when he's kind of at his best, honestly. So that's something that is going to be fun to watch. I do think people are too high and too low. Like the haters are way too low on this, and the diehard biased Laker fans are way too high on this. Like the people saying, "Oh, that's the best big three in the league. We're gonna win the chip." Listen, I try to be as unbiased as possible, especially when I'm doing my videos, and it does not guarantee a chip. I'll tell you that much. Like, is it possible they could win it? Of course. They have a ton of talent, and if they do the right roster additions in the offseason, they have a chance. And then the people saying that this is trash, they're going to be terrible, they're going to miss the playoffs, I saw on Twitter, like, let's relax, okay? Like, everyone, the haters are too low, the biased fans are too high. I'm somewhere in the middle in terms of, like, let's just see how it plays out. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think is going to happen. It's definitely exciting. It's definitely going to be wild to witness and see the highs and the lows and see them try to figure it out and see if Russ could get his first ring, LeBron get his fifth ring, AD get his second ring. Can they stay healthy? Can they figure out the chemistry? Who's going to have the ball down the stretch of games? Is LeBron going to play off ball all the time? Is LeBron going to continue to run point and Russ is going to be off the ball? There's a lot to figure out. Definitely fun from a basketball standpoint. Definitely fun as a Laker fan to try to see what's going to happen. And also going to be fun to see how they finish filling out the roster, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.